Thank you. Thank you for adding me to the agenda. In the spring of 2008, the Red Hook community was informed that a charter school would be placed in our long-standing successful school, PS 15, the Patrick Daly School. After that decision was announced, there was a community outrage, and then a community meeting was held for members to share their views. The decision to place a charter, PAVE Academy, in PS 15 was finalized, regardless of the community's outrage, a decision seemingly already made. The agreement was that this charter school, PAVE Academy, would be temporarily housed in PS 15 for 2 years. This agreement by the Department of Education and PAVE's founder, Spencer Robertson, was stated repeatedly to parents, community members, teachers, and the building's administration, and to the union. In the spring of 2009, only a year into their stay, PAVE announced to the Daily News that they requested an extension to stay in PS 15 for up to an additional 3 years. Again, parents, teachers, and community members expressed their outrage and questioned transparency, due process, and accountability. According to the DOE, no decisions had yet been made concerning the extension request, but there has also been no information or opportunity for engagement regarding the request and its potential impact on our school community. The impact would be significant and would not serve the best interests of our children. Central to the issue of PAVE being housed in PS 15, and even more to the issue of their extension request, is the formula for building space, which does not take into account special education mandates, which limits the number of students in a room. It does not take into account related service providers such as speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and adaptive physical education. It does not take into account enrichment programs or intervention services. These things are not luxuries, they are necessary, and our students deserve these services and opportunities. What is provided to the children of PS 15 makes PS 15 a successful school and supports our children in realizing their fullest potential. The loss of space to run these programs and services would hinder the school's ability to maintain the excellence in education provided here. Already this year, we have lost our room for occupational therapy, which 2 service providers already shared. Now these providers work out of the library and the Beacon's computer lab. We lost both of our speech provider rooms. They now share 1 room on the first floor. PAVE took over the room that the Beacon's computer lab was in. Therefore, the computer lab was moved to a PS 15 room that was being utilized for enrichment, pull-out services, testing accommodations, and substitute coverage. A 2nd grade classroom was taken, so they were moved to another location, leaving our intervention reading teacher with no classroom. She now occupies a small room, the 1/3 of the size of a classroom. In addition, our band, which has run on the 2nd floor for over 10 years out of the music teacher's classroom and piano lab, has been moved downstairs to the 1st grade hallway because his room, which is specially wired for pianos and equipment, resides right in the middle of PAVE-occupied classrooms. It also has become increasingly difficult to schedule and utilize shared space, such as the gym, cafeteria, auditorium, and playground. All of these factors negatively impact the services and programming our students receive, not to mention the effect it has had on our school culture and ability to function. Contrary to what members of the PAVE community say, we do not underutilize the building, and there is no additional space to be taken without affecting the students who attend PS 15. We have seen community schools across the city forced to building share with charters, have their resources drained, their space limited, and their programs negatively impacted. We are also seeing charters across the city put in extensions to stay and further expand into buildings after already announcing an end date for their temporary stay as part of the presentation to and agreement with the school communities. These extensions seem to aim to afford these charters free space until the end of their 5-year state evaluations, even though 5 years of space was not what was originally requested. In the particular case of PAVE, it is our understanding that they have not even acquired a site, even though a full year of operation has gone by, as well as years of planning. The lack of transparency and due process, the absence of regard and priority for our existing students, whose progress and gains meet or exceed city and state standards, is an outrage to our democracy and defiles the success and importance of our community public schools. There is no accountability in holding anyone to any kind of agreement or standard because of the commitment to support and propagate charter schools and the idea of shared space within the Department of Education and the Bloomberg administration. What disturbs us most, however, is the complete disregard and understanding for the fact that PS15, the Patrick Daly School, whose namesake lost his life serving the children of Red Hook 17 years ago, is an AAA school, being unfairly, and forcefully pushed out by a charter school that has no success record. It is not held to the same accountability standards. It is staffed with less experienced and less qualified personnel, and whose student body is largely comprised of children from outside of the school community. Last year, out of PS15's pre-kindergarten graduating class, only 2 families chose to send their 2 children to PAVE. PS15 has received at least 7 children boomerang back from PAVE, which is another stark example of the inequity and lack of accountability placed on charter schools. They discharge students at will. True public schools could not and would not do that. In addition, many more students have tried to come to PS15 but are not zoned for our school. The housing of PAVE Academy in PS15 is not serving the best interest of the children in Red Hook, and it has no place past the 2-year agreement in our community public school. The extension that PAVE seeks, their current occupation, and others like it across the city, drain school and community resources, set up a system of privilege and subordination, divide communities, and disenfranchise citizens from a truly democratic system that was intended to listen to them and represent them, not impose an authoritative agenda on them. If the movement behind the push for charters and shared space was really about what was best for children, we would not see building sharing formulas that treat children as numbers and deny them the space to run enrichment and intervention programming. We would not see campus policies that sanction public school principals for not coming to agreements on space usage while doing nothing to hold charter school leaders accountable to the same standard. We would not see due process skirted and phony meetings held. We would not see successful schools being squeezed out by charters, especially when those charters are not primarily servicing the students from that school and community. To end, we would like to say to the Department of Education, do not accept PAVE Academy's extension to remain in PS15 beyond the 2-year agreement. It will negatively impact our school. It will negatively impact our programming. More important than numbers calculated with a formula is the opportunity for equitable education. To the CEC, we would like to say thank you for hearing us tonight, and please join us and support us in protecting and preserving public education for our children and community. Finally, to the PAVE Academy, its staff, students, and parents, we fully understand and do not question your right to exist and function as a charter school in this community. We fully support and in no way question the families who choose to send their children to PAVE. We do not stand here to fight against you. Instead, we are here to fight for and to protect our school and the opportunities and programming that we provide and choose for our children. We simply ask that you honor the agreement and commitment that you made, that you would only remain housed in PS15 for 2 years. Yes, that's right. Thank you.